Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video, we're excited to do because it's gonna be, I think maybe a little bit of a roasting makeup video, which I don't do these all that often, but I got tagged on a thread on Twitter, and when I saw what was being talked about, I was like, I must do a video about this. So what happened is that someone on Twitter tagged Smoky Glow, or Hannah, and they tagged her on the list.com put out like the best eyeshadow palettes of 2021, which I was like, wow, at the time we were only in March. I was like, how do we already have best eyeshadow? But okay, whatever. So that was my first thought. And then I ended up getting tagged somewhere down the line. Someone tagged me on a specific palette that was included in this list, and I was like, all right, I really got to do a video about this. So I have seen that Hannah has posted her video like reacting to these top palettes of 2021, so I will link her video down below. But yeah, when I got tagged on the Twitter thread, I thought this is just too fun, I must do this also. So I got my wine with me, and we're just gonna go ahead and go through this list of best palettes of 2021. Like Hannah mentioned in her video, it's interesting to see the difference between like mainstream media and marketing and what they're putting out in these lists versus like the YouTube side of things. And it's something that I myself still struggle to like differentiate between the two. And you know, I'll go to my friends in real life and be excited about something or like want to give them something, and they're like, oh no, like I get my BoxyCharm once a month and that's where I get my makeup from, and I'm super happy about that. And I'm like, okay, like it's just, it is very different. So I do try to keep that in mind. But to see a list like this, I was just like, oh, okay. All right. I just felt like it was too good to pass up for this style of video. And again, like I said, I'm not really like a roasty type of channel, but sometimes it's just fun, okay? Sometimes it's just fun. It's just lighthearted. I got my wine with me. I'm going to try not to spill it. I'm going to try really hard not to spill it. And let's get into it. So I'll link this article down below. This is the list and the list.com. And the title is The Best Makeup Palettes of 2021. All right, best makeup palettes of 2021. I do want to say though, I did film this look. I have no idea when my videos are going up, but I just finished filming this. It's a try new makeup video with the Elf and Jen Atkin collab, some Tatcha, some Charlotte Tilbury. Should be up by the time this video goes up, so I will link it in the cards. I do have a different lighting situation happening. I've been mentioning it in some of my videos. It's fine. We're just gonna get through it the best that we can. And it's 5:16, so my wine is acceptable, but there's also no sunshine. So we're just making it through. The first palette that they mention is the newest Naked Wild West palette from Urban Decay is a must-have. I'm not mad about that. I personally, I'm not mad. You know, this is a new release. I haven't tried it yet myself, but I want to. I had mentioned it in my Sephora wishlist video. By the time this goes up, I don't know, my haul might be up. We'll have to see. The Sephora sale has not started yet at the time that I'm filming, so I don't know if I will end up grabbing this one, but I do like the Urban Decay Naked palettes. I thought this was a pretty strong start, so not bad. Not bad. A lot of people like the Naked palettes. I mean, I know so many girlfriends that have gone through several of their Naked palettes. I mean, they're just like a staple for them. So I don't mind that. All right, then we have these new palettes have gorgeous colors and an Animal Crossing theme. So these are the Colourpop and Animal Crossing palettes. You know, I didn't try these myself. I did get them in PR from Colourpop, but it was at a time where I was getting a ton of eyeshadow palettes, and I thought I will just gift these out to people, and that way someone else can enjoy the palettes that I just knew I wouldn't be able to get to. But they didn't really like grab. I feel like maybe that Animal Crossing, that is so popular, especially in mainstream. I feel like that probably has something to do with why I got on the list. I don't know, maybe this won't be a roasting video. I thought it would be kind of roasty, but I understand the first two. I see where we're coming from. I see it, I see it. Then we have this Sweet Face palette from Tarte will seal the deal. This is the Cheeky Clay Matte palette. What are these? I feel like I haven't even talked about these. I do new makeup releases every single Wednesday, my Will I Buy It video. What is going on? I feel like there's been multiple releases from Tarte that I've missed, but I don't feel like I've seen anyone talk about these. These are new. It's $19. I have not seen these. I did not know that these came out. So has anyone else tried these? Huh, 2021 palette designed for social media use should be in your collection. Designed for social media use. I don't know if I quite get that, but this is from Charlotte Tilbury, my girl Char Char. This is the new Hollywood Flawless Eye Filter palette in Star Aura. I haven't tried this one myself once again. I think it came around the time where I was getting a lot of packages, so I ended up gifting this one out too. So, you know, I do a lot of giveaways. Because I can't try everything. But I do like the Charlotte Tilbury quads. I can understand why they would be on the list too. I feel like Charlotte Tilbury is very popular not only on YouTube but also in mainstream. I mean, it's a very expensive brand, a luxury brand. I feel like both sides really do like Charlotte Tilbury as a brand, and I think that her quads have been really popular for a long time also. So not super shocked to see that in there. Okay, look, okay. I think I'm gonna go put my wine away. We have another Colourpop palette on the list. I was a little bit surprised to see Colourpop mentioned twice, but you know, I would say that I think, in my opinion, and again, these are all my opinions, obviously, I do think Colourpop does a good job of going into both worlds also. Like, you know, there's some brands that are really well known on social media, but I could go ask my girlfriends and they would have no idea who I'm talking about. And there's some brands that are really well known in mainstream, but not really as much on YouTube. And then there's some that do both. I do think Colourpop does a good job of doing both because they're so widely talked about, and also they've kept their price point so affordable. Like, I know a lot of friends who also really enjoy the Colourpop brand, but I am a little bit surprised to see them twice. And we do have the 143 Pink Pressed Eyeshadow Palette. This came out for their Valentine's Day collection. I mean, it's fine. You know, it's one of their newer 5-pan palettes. It's a fine palette. I don't know if I would consider either of these like some of their best palettes that they came out with, or especially best palettes of 2021. What do I know? Also, I'm doing a terrible job. I should have be scooting over so I can add in some photos. Editing, Samantha, good luck. Let's see what you figure out in this one. Next up, we have don't miss out on this new palette and collection from e.l.f. So they're talking about the mint palettes, the mint collection, including the 4-pan mint palettes. Yeah, I think this is a great addition to the list. These are $4 from e.l.f. Cosmetics, very affordable. Mint won't be for everybody, but they have a couple different options with the palettes, and I really like these. I think the e.l.f. bite-sized palettes are great. I think the quality is great. They're really easily accessible, and you can grab them at Target. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I'm down with that, okay. Next up, we have this new palette from By Terry will give you glittery looks. This is the VIP Expert Palette N3 Paris Mon Amour palette. That's the whole name. That's a lot. Okay, this is supposed to give us literal romance in France vibes, and we're completely here for it. I'm pretty sure I've seen this palette. I'm not super familiar with the brand By Terry. I think I've tried like maybe one item from them at this point, so not super familiar with them myself. I feel like it's really expensive though. Do they have the price listed on here? $56. By Terry, from what I understand, I think that they are a well-known brand, but a little bit maybe more in the mainstream world and not quite as much on YouTube. So I mean, I feel like you could get some pretty looks out of it. Even when I say I'm trying to roast products, I still try to find the positives. I might have to change the title of this video, dang it. All right, next up we have fan of Huda Beauty. You have to get this new palette. I actually like this palette too. This is the Gold Obsessions palette. I bought this recently and I really do like it. I like the Huda Obsessions palettes. There's a lot of different options to choose from, but the gold is really pretty. I do like the toppers. The mattes were easy to blend. I like the color scheme in here. Yeah, I'm a fan of those palettes, so I would say yes to that one. Then we have bring Korean makeup into your collection with this new palette from Peripera. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. It says, it seems like Korean makeup is always a couple steps ahead of the trends. The products coming out of the forward-thinking market can really set the tone for the makeup industry. So if you're looking to spice up your 2021 makeup collection, you absolutely have to get the Lala Coral Mango eyeshadow palette. I'm not familiar with the brand myself, but I feel like I'm not as in the know with K-beauty as I wish that I was. I'm not really as in the know with US beauty all the time either, but is what it is. So this is interesting because it's a very long palette. I mean, it looks, the name says coral in it, but I don't really see, I mean, it looks like there's one coral shade in there, which is pretty, But otherwise it looks very neutral and kind of mauve-y. Like, I like the tones in there, but I guess I don't know exactly what they're saying. Like, this is setting the trend, like the tone and the trend for 2021. It's like a spicy collection. I don't know, I guess I don't really see that there. Hannah also mentioned in her video about, you know, trends are different across the different markets from US and Asia and Europe and beyond. So, you know, maybe that's what's considered spicy in the K-beauty industry. I guess I wouldn't look at that in the US market where I am and consider that spicy, you know? Next up, we have another one from Tarte. Again, interesting. This gorgeous neutral palette belongs in your bag. This is the Tartelette Juicy Amazonian Clay Eyeshadow Palette. I haven't tried this personally myself. Tarte is just a brand that's kind of really fallen off for me, but I do still feel like they're very much mainstream. I do watch quite a bit of TikTok, and I feel like TikTok is an interesting space in the makeup world because a lot of people on there, like TikTok is like the social media for everybody. It's very user-friendly. If you want to go viral, you probably could. There's just like a lot of opportunities over on TikTok, but when I watch people and makeup and the makeup that they're gravitating towards, I see a lot of the same brands over and over again, and a lot of them are kind of those staple brands from years ago. I hate the shadows, I'm so sorry, but the staple brands from years ago, including Tarte, I still see people continually talking about Tarte like there's no other brands that exist. It's just kind of like, what? There's so many brands out there. So, I mean, it's a pretty palette. It's pretty, I like the color scheme. It's kind of like, okay. This next one says, don't miss out on this luxurious palette from, how do you pronounce this brand? It will be on the screen. I don't want to offend people trying to pronounce things because I'm not great at it. It says, there are just some eyeshadows that scream sophistication, and that's certainly the case for the signature color eyes palette. It does remind me maybe a little bit of like a Tom Ford quad. That's actually, when I was scrolling through the list, I thought that's what it was. You know, there's 6 different palettes to choose from with different color stories. So this one looks to be the 002 palette for a bronzy look. I mean, yeah, not another brand that I'm not super familiar with, so I wonder if they're more well known for mainstream. But you know, it's like fine. It's like fine. This is the one that I got tagged on that I was like, what? Especially for the headline, it says, don't miss out on this palette from Almay. Don't miss out on it. Do you want me to link it in my description box? I would link it. This says, we all remember the days of going to CVS with our moms for dish soap only to run straight to the cosmetics section. That is true. I actually do remember that. This I really enjoy. It says, sometimes drugstore makeup is where it's at, and 2021 will be made easy with this numbered eyeshadow palette from Almay. So it's numbered. There's 4 shades. But it's numbered. And I'm so sorry for anyone who loves these palettes and you like think I'm being so mean, but like I just don't understand how that's a selling point right now. Like maybe, yeah, like 20 years ago or whatever, but like not, like I don't think we need like paint by numbers at this point with a 4-pan palette. This palette has a couple different features that really make it a must-have. Let me tell you what they are. First, the entire palette is pocket-sized. That's fantastic. Love that. Secondly, it has specifically numbered shadows. That's fantastic. I love that. So the palette also switches up depending on your eye color. Okay, but it's one palette. Wait, what does that mean? So if you have blue eyes, the palette features more gold and bronze colors. If you have green eyes, the color switched to mauve-inspired hues. I don't understand. I don't even think that was grammatically correct. Thelist.com. This is really a foolproof palette. It's only $8? $8? $8? The e.l.f. is $4. That's $8. No. That's expensive to me for this palette. $8? I would not pay $8 for that. I would just go load up on candy instead. Next one says, indecisive? Buy this new palette from Pat McGrath that features 18 shades. All right, Auntie Pat, my girl. Charlotte and Pat making it in here. Love that for them. Pat McGrath is a makeup industry icon. That is true. So they are featuring the Mothership Mega Palette. And I know I didn't purchase this one myself, and I thought about it. It had a lower price tag than most of Pat's palettes, which to me, I was like, cool, but also at the same time, I was like, so what's the formula? Like, you know, it's always like, oh, so what's the catch here? But it's a larger palette for me. I preferred the smaller palettes, like the Almay, you know, foolproof, throw it in my pocket type of thing. So this just kind of had a lot going on, but I've seen some good reviews on it, and Pat McGrath is very well known in mainstream, so definitely not surprised to see it. The palette's $78, so yeah, not really surprised to see that one on the list. And then we have this new palette will cost you, but it's completely worth it. This is, oh shoot, Byredo. I just talked about this recently in a Will I Buy It video. Says some makeup palettes on this list will cost you the same amount of money as an order from Starbucks, and others will take a significant chunk out of your paycheck. This palette falls under the latter category, but it's well worth it. So this is the Prismatic limited edition palette, and this palette is $96. $96. That's expensive. I know I was just saying $8 expensive. $96 is expensive. And I mean, do I have eyeshadow palettes that cost more than $96 in my collection? Yeah, I do. This one, I mean, I guess, you know, say your words. I guess I'm almost a little bit surprised to see this one on the list because it is a more colorful palette. And I do feel like sometimes when we are talking mainstream, I feel like a lot of people are very, like, the Urban Decay Naked palettes, and they're very neutral, and you think like a look for your corporate job, like just certain things like that. So to see this one on the list, I was like, okay. I know they are a well-known company and well-known for fragrance also, so I guess probably not super shocked when I really think about it, but I mean, that's a $96 palette, like, that's very expensive. That's the list.com. And then I'm also gonna do one more, I think Smoky Glow, I think she did a total of 3 in her video. I'm gonna do the one from Vogue also, just because like I'm having a good time. So the Vogue one is called The Best Eyeshadow Palettes for a Bright, Playful New Year. So let's talk about these two, okay? So the best and bright palettes. Let's go, let's get it. Okay, first of all, very confused. I wasn't sure I was gonna do this one or any other ones. I was like, let's just see how we're feeling. And with the light, I was like, let's just see what's going on. The best eyeshadow palettes for a bright, playful new year. The first palette on the list is the Dior Backstage Eye Palette. Like, maybe don't start with this. Start with the Byredo palette. Like, I'm like, what is it? What? You know, okay. So this is $49 for the Dior Backstage Eye Palette. I mean, Dior is obviously very well known across both, and I understand them being on the list. And I've heard some good things about these palettes. I've been interested myself in the face palettes that they've come out with, but I am kind of like, it's just bizarre. Because the second one that we have on the list is the NikkieTutorials X Beauty Bay Pressed Pigment Palette. And this is, I mean, you have your neutrals in here too, but there's also pops of color. Like, this makes sense for a bright, playful new year. Like, at least it makes sense to what the article is saying. So this is $30. I feel like maybe this was limited edition. I'm not sure if this is even still available right now, but you know, obviously congratulations to NikkieTutorials. I feel like she's kind of going into mainstream, from YouTube to mainstream also, like some other YouTubers have. So that's cool to see featured in Vogue. Like, I think that's very neat. And then another collaboration, we have the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Amrezy eyeshadow palette. I think it's really cool to see Vogue featuring these types of collaborations. Like, I think that's very cool. Congratulations to Amrezy and Anastasia as well. It's very, Anastasia palettes, I do feel like get really good feedback from both sides also. So, you know, that's awesome. This also had me really excited. The Juvia's Place The Warrior eyeshadow palette. How awesome to see Juvia's Place mentioned in here too. And they really do have nice eyeshadow palettes. They have a really nice formula. This one's $20. Not the most colorful either. So like, just going with the title of this one, it's kind of odd, but like, how fun to see Juvia's Place on Vogue. That's neat. Also, once again, Pat McGrath, the Mothership Mega Celestial Divinity, the 18 pan. Not super shocked to see that. We also have in here from Viseart, their eyeshadow palettes are mentioned. These are $80. Viseart I know is very well known because a lot of makeup artists have used their palettes for a very long time. Like when I first started YouTube, I had never personally heard of Viseart, and when I first mentioned them, people are like, this is really focused to makeup artists, and that's why the packaging is the way that it is. And I was like, oh, I get it. So I know for this list, a lot of people that they're talking to are makeup artists and celebrity makeup artists, so it doesn't shock me to see Viseart on it. We have the Lorac Pro Palette Noir. Again, now I don't really see the colorful side of this, but this is a $35 palette. Nice to see Lorac featured on this list, I guess, because I feel like they could use a little bit of a boost. I don't really know how many people are reading this list. I only found it because of the tweet and then Hannah's video. But Lorac, I feel like they're kind of falling off a little bit, so it's nice to see them mentioned. This palette to me, even though I'm a neutral lover, it really doesn't interest me very much, to be honest, but you know. Then we have another one from Huda Beauty. I feel like Huda Beauty is well known, and I feel like very well respected because of how she started. And I know that there's controversy on YouTube, but if we talk about mainstream, for what she did in starting her brand and where she started it and then being successful, that's not something that you would hear a lot. Interesting to see mentioned on both lists. And on this one, this is the Naughty palette. I know this was $67. I know a lot of people talked about the Naughty palette when it came out. It was, you know, kind of different looking, and we had that one shade that people are like not so sure about. And I feel like this really did get a lot of attention, so not super surprised to see it on the list. Another one from Pat McGrath on here, this is the Subversive palette. Okay, so again, I think a lot of makeup artists also would really gravitate towards Pat McGrath. The eyeshadows are very, like, just very quality, a little bit more unique, and I just also think Pat McGrath is very well respected amongst a lot of makeup artists, so not surprised with interviewing them that they would be mentioning Pat McGrath. We also have on here the Haus Laboratories Stupid Fun Story. My camera battery died in my Canon. Here we are again. So I actually just switched cameras, so if the sound and the quality looks different, I just really want it to finish before it gets too dark, because then my lighting, I don't know what it's gonna look like. So we're just gonna keep pushing on. I have warned people that April is not my best month. There's a lot going on right now, and I'm just doing the best I can to be able to keep working. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the positive vibes in my comment section. It really means a lot, so just doing the best we can. So from Haus Labs, okay, so this palette, it's $48. Haus Labs is the brand that was started by Lady Gaga, and I feel like that probably comes into play here too. I feel like with the YouTube side of things, I really don't see much mentioned of Haus Labs. I just don't see the brand talked about all that often, so I really wonder like what's being said in mainstream and like how, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like the Lady Gaga aspect has something to do with it, or the makeup artists that work with her probably is a reason. Like, I never want to say, well, do I? I want to say that what I was going to say is that I never want to say that I think something is like bought to be on a list. But at the same time, I actually know that to be the case in other industries, not beauty. I know that to be the case in other industries. I've seen it firsthand. And it's always like so disappointing to learn that things can be skewed that way. But I don't know. I hate to say that that's like one of the first thoughts, because I don't think that's what's happening here. I just want to throw, like, I really don't think that. But it was one of my first thoughts of like, how? Really? But okay, that was a lot. I feel really mean I said that. We also have the Nars Extreme Effects palette. Not very surprised to see Nars on the list. I feel like they're also, I mean, one of those brands that have been around for so long. I feel like in the mainstream, I understand. I'm not a huge fan of the Nars eyeshadow palettes or the eyeshadow formula. I don't know. It's like a okay for me. And then also there's another Lorac on here, which again, I hate that I like was thinking this, but it was like, oh, it's like someone paying to like help. But again, I don't want to think that way. That's what I'll say. The Lorac Pro eyeshadow palette. I mean, you know, you know, I don't think it really needs to be on this list, but that's just me. Okay, that is the end of the Vogue list. So those are the two that I will keep it at. I hope that you had fun with this video. Again, it was just supposed to be like lighthearted and kind of a fun, chill, relaxed video. I will link Hannah's down below, but I would love to hear your thoughts and just kind of like hear your thoughts too on like mainstream versus like the YouTube side of things, and what palettes maybe you were surprised to see or not surprised to see on the list. I'd love to hear your feedback, of course. If the list or Vogue would like any ideas from us, I'm sure Hannah and I could contribute many eyeshadow palettes that we think should be on the list. But you know, Vogue, the list, just give us a call. We'll help you out. We'll help you out with your next best palettes of the year list. Other than that though, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. I hope you also consider subscribing before you go, and I'll see you in my next video.